Tomas, I feel like I say this every retrospective, but how the fuck are we already at Unforgiven? It feels
I
like
do not know.
it feels like every single time we do one of these years looking back in retro, like it always flies by. And every time we hit Unforgiven, it's like, wow, we're close. We're getting close, man.
I'm loving the hell out of it because I love reliving these pay-per-views that I grew up with. But yeah, welcome back to the ZNT Wrestling Show. We are still on our never-ending quest to review every single pay-per-view, probably heading up until 2020. So we will be done with this by the time we're 40.
Oh, good Lord. Never ends.
We are always here talking professional wrestling, whether it be WWE, AEW. We want, you know what? We keep teasing it. We're going to throw some TNA in the mix one of these days. We've got to. We are talking all things professional wrestling here.
Yes, we are.
Today we are talking about Unforgiven 2005. I did not order this pay-per-view growing up, but I do have very fond memories of this era. Like I feel like I said every retro. But we are also heading into the era where I do order the next pay-per-view. And when we talk about that pay-per-view, I went to my very first Monday Night Raw. And it's going to be very important because I think it's the Raw after this show. Maybe a day after or the week after.
Let me look at it.
My very first Monday Night Raw in Sacramento at the Arco Arena. I will go into much more detail about that in the next review because I might want to go down memory lane and like give a little retrospective how it was like going to my first ever Monday Night Raw. I had been to a house show 3 years prior, but that was a house show. I didn't know how house shows worked as a kid. It's still one of my fondest memories, but actually getting to be at a Monday Night Raw and to see how the television shows work in person was very cool. The very first time I saw my first dark main event and me freaking out because I didn't know that they did a match after they went off the air, and so freaking out, thinking John Cena is going to lose the WWE title.
I actually took the liberty of looking up when that show actually was, and it was October 17th, so a month after this show.
They must have. Wow, there's a big gap that I don't remember because they were building towards Taboo Tuesday on that Monday Night Raw. And this pay-per-view very much influences the main event of that pay-per-view as well. So it's a great segue into this show. Like I said, I didn't order this show. There wasn't really any matches on this show that like really made me, because I feel like as a kid, it was always like, holy shit, I Quit match between John Cena and JBL. I have to see that. Holy shit, Hogan versus Michaels. I have to see that. And even though there were some very good matches on this card, including a cage match, nothing really like popped out of me for this one.
Yeah. I think that's part of why my parents didn't really feel the need to order this for me, because I wasn't really all that pumped to watch it or all that eager to watch it. But I did look at all the results on WWE.com after the show aired, and I was looking at some of these images, and like some of them just live rent-free in my head. I'll tell you that much, and we'll get through those. But
I remember the days when we didn't have a home computer and I literally was calling my grandparents to please like go up on the website and like read me the results, please. And that was, I couldn't even then get like a vague idea of what went on. I just wanted to know. I feel like as a kid, I just wanted to know, did Cena win? Did Cena win?
Well, it's not a bad show wrestling-wise either. Like, looking up and down this card, I can't really think of a terrible match, maybe one that we'll get to, but
there is two actually. They're back to back.
Oh boy,
one that was just bad, and the other one was just like, you're really doing Shelton Benjamin like this. You're really doing him like this.
We'll cover that. We'll cover that when we get to it. But the show takes place in September. Unforgiven is the September show. It takes place in Jim Ross's neck of the woods in Oklahoma City. Sooner country, if you will, and the crowd was hot for this show. It's probably the only pay-per-view to ever take place in the state of Oklahoma, so they are just like gung-ho about this. They are just throwing every ounce of energy they can. Your open contest.
You sure you don't want to talk about Rob Conway versus Tajiri?
Oh, I'm positive. We'll talk about Rob Conway when we get to that. He's referring to
Heat match. Isn't it crazy though that back in the day pay-per-views had pre-matches? And I'm not talking about like in the WWE Network era where they were able to air. And I'm not even talking about like the YouTube era where they were able to show the pre-show match on here. This was straight up a dark match before a pay-per-view. And you know what? Come to think
Sunday Night Heat was still around though.
Yeah, Sunday Night Heat was still a thing. But even then, you go back to like these older pay-per-views and they would have straight up dark matches. They had dark matches, they had heat matches, and then they had a pay-per-view. Nowadays, you know what, man? I think I'm okay not having a pre-show match. Just considering
Yep.
how either it's AEW that has like 15 matches on the show, or WWE, they have fewer matches, but those matches are like, they exhaust you.
They make them count.
Into a 4-match show again on Saturday. We will be talking about Elimination Chamber. Stay tuned on that. And a very important in-ring segment. So I feel like that alone is going to be like enough.
Yeah, no, I think the fans in Australia are going to get a really good show with Elimination Chamber, but we're jumping the gun here. Unforgiven 2005, there are 8 matches we have to get through. Titles are on the line. There's feuds that are beginning, feuds that are ending, and we can't wait to get through all of them. Our first contest is for the Intercontinental Championship, Tomas. It is the champion, who Tomas likes to call Midolito. He's fucking wrong. Carlito is going up against the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, who is going for his very first Intercontinental Championship.
Yes. And a very interesting point about this that we'll get into, especially after this match. This is Ric Flair without a direction. Ric Flair has recently turned babyface, going after the Intercontinental title. And as we stated before, after Vengeance, Triple H is nowhere to be seen. He I think they even showed on a .com exclusive, Triple H kind of just took his ball and went home. So Flair is here, without his guy, without his number one person, without
Hunter,
his meal ticket.
At this point, Hunter was either A, nursing some nagging injuries in his his spinal area, or B, he was trying to start a family with Stephanie McMahon. And judging from...
Yeah, I'm just talking in kayfabe, Triple H basically,
he's gone.
Ball and went home. He tucked his tail between his legs after he could not win back the World Heavyweight Championship. And, again, this is a very interesting post-Reign of Terror Monday Night Raw, where Triple H, he's going to come back, but he's not going to touch that world title for 3 years. So I feel like it's a much-needed break. And I feel like regardless whether it was injuries or if he was trying to start a family, this was probably the best time for Triple H just to not be on TV. But when he comes back, it's going to be big. So this is very interesting. Yeah. This is Flair, again, a babyface Flair chasing after the Intercontinental title, and in a match that I don't remember being this good.
Yeah, I told you it was going to be good, man. Carlito, I don't really remember much about the build either. It might have been set up on one of Carlito's Cabana segments where he just spat apple in Ric Flair's face because he didn't think Ric Flair was cool. Flair basically is going after... I don't know if he ended up winning a number one contenders match because of this, but it's WWE.
I don't think so. I think this was just Flair going after the title. And regardless of how you feel about Ric Flair, and trust me, I do not like Ric Flair nowadays.
No.
I just think he's washed up, he's old, he's perverted. He's trying to steal the spotlight from his buddy Sting in his retirement run, which I just think is gross. You can say whatever you want. Oh, Flair wants to be there. It's like, I don't want him there. And there's a difference between him paying tribute to Sting and him interjecting himself into the feud. But anywho, it's crazy that, again, regardless how you feel about Flair, even here in 2005, Flair is still, I don't want to say he's running on all cylinders, but he's just his psychology is very good in this match. I feel like he was the perfect person to guide Carlito into a very well put together match. Flair was very good on this night. All of it was there. The chops were, and it's crazy. Flair working a babyface, because when Flair is a heel, he knows how to control the pace of the match so well. But even here as a babyface, it's like he was still controlling the pace, but giving Carlito, the blueprint to guide him through it was like Flair was trying to be Carlito's teacher, and that is true in kayfabe and in real life, because Flair saw so much in Carlito. And I don't feel like we shouldn't talk about that for another couple of years when they actually revisit this feud. But Flair saw a lot in Carlito, so I feel like this was the perfect opportunity, to give Carlito the blueprints.
Oh, yeah. And I think Carlito stepped up to the plate, and he passed this test with flying colors. I think he was really good on this night, making Flair look like a massive babyface, which is a very hard thing to do, considering that it's the dirtiest player in the game. Flair was doing a lot of the babyface tropes, and there was actually a spot where he goes up to the top rope, and he nails Carlito with just like an axe handle off the top, and the crowd pops like they've never seen Flair do this before, which
because
never done it before.
Flair's shtick, a running joke with Flair has always been how, like, his psychology can be very good, but his psychology can also be very nonsensical. And I think it was our buddy Greg Morgan that really like nailed this point down back in his earlier days. It's like, why is Ric Flair always going to go to the top rope when he knows the babyface is just going to, military slam him off of it? It's like you would think Flair would think, don't go to the top rope. But it's just like, it was one of those instances where, like, oh my God, Flair jumped off the top rope. Like, finally, he was able to get some offense from the top rope. And I feel like he would only do this one other time, and it's in his WWE retirement match against Shawn Michaels. So it was definitely a full circle moment for Flair.
Yeah, and he celebrates hitting that move off the top rope like he just won his 17th World Heavyweight Championship. He is having so much fun with this that he decides to go up and hit it again. He jumps off, and Carlito catches him midair with a beautiful dropkick right into Flair's midsection. Carlito then goes towards the finish, right? He goes for the apple, bites into the apple. Flair hits him with a knife-edge chop, and Carlito has apple wedges stuck in his throat. He is choking in the middle of the ring. And Jonathan Coachman on commentary is calling for someone to get in there and perform the Heimlich maneuver on Carlito to get him to breathe again, get that apple out of his windpipe. But no, Flair takes advantage, locks in the figure four, and say goodbye to Carlito's IC title reign because he taps out. Flair celebrates in the middle of the ring again like he just won his 17th world title. And Ric Flair has a very fun Intercontinental title reign ahead of him, I think.
And here's the thing. You say he celebrated like he won the World Heavyweight title, but
he did.
I feel like it's his first Intercontinental title. You think about Flair's history. You think about his legacy. And he even says it in a promo, and I actually agree with it. He says this is the first time he's ever won the Intercontinental title, and it feels just as important as his 16 world title reigns. And considering, again, the history and the legacy of not only Flair, but the Intercontinental title, I think it's very much needs to be treated like that. Even though we're in the era where the Intercontinental title is the definition of mid-card. It's not a stepping stone to the main event. It's not how it was treated in the mid-90s or even how it is treated nowadays, where it's a main event title, the workhorse title.
Full workhouse title.
Flair just holding that title made it so important. And I feel like his promo, it was real. It was very real. You could see the happiness in Flair's eyes that he won this title. And I'm looking at the stats right now. Apparently, that made Flair the oldest champion in WWE history at 56 years old.
He was 56 years old. Carlito was only 26 years old when this match went down, by the way. If you want a little bit of trivia in terms of the age gap of both of these competitors. But that's why I really, really loved Flair's promo after this match because, again, the IC title, not to say that Carlito was holding the title back, but putting it on an established veteran and a former 16-time world champion, actually 21-time world champion, which WWE refuses to acknowledge those other 5 reigns for some reason, but putting it on Flair at that stage of his career pretty much makes him the gatekeeper to the main event, if you will. It's an interesting way to look at it. You put that big mid-card title on Flair, makes it all the more prestigious, and his promo delivery made the title feel so much more important than it had felt in a while. So I dug the promo.
I'm going to give this match 3.25 stars. It's crazy that the feel-good moment of the show was the first thing we saw on the show. And like I said, Flair guided Carlito through a very good match. I thought his psychology, Flair was just on something this night. And it was probably one of the better Flair matches in this stage of his career. Not saying that Flair's out there having stinkers, but we are far gone, past the days of his wars with Dusty Rhodes and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and, competing for the WCW Championship. Because, like we talked about at the very beginning of this, way back when, and in the beginning of this retrospective, Flair coming into WWE after the WCW buyout. If you watch Flair from like 99 to 2001, he was just going through the motions. He was not the same Ric Flair of like 10 years prior even. That wasn't the same Flair that cut the with the tear in my eye promo at the 1992 Royal Rumble. This was not, the dirtiest player in the game. That was just Flair on autopilot.
Yeah, not only was he on autopilot, Tomas, but he had lost his mojo and his cool factor, and more importantly, Flair lacked all the confidence that he had beforehand. Like, he was so self-conscious of like his body image at the time. A lot of those matches, especially the final Nitro match against Sting, he was wrestling in a t-shirt a lot of the time, and he just looked like a shell of what Ric Flair used to be.
Even though he came back in 2001 and had that great blood feud with Mr. McMahon, and then he had that great match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 18, and then he just kind of like fell out of it again. And I feel like, you know, that promo that Triple H cut on him backstage at Unforgiven 2002, ironically, was really Triple H trying to snap Flair out of it. And, you know, you talk about the insecurities and you look at it and it's like Ric Flair is one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time, and he has nothing to be insecure about.
Exactly.
And I really wish I could sit here and defend Flair nowadays, but just the way he conducts himself in real life, and it's just like, he's not doing himself any favors. So it's just like, the man is a legend, but I wish I could put him on that pedestal as I should.
Yeah, me too. But all things being said, I'm going to give this match 3 stars as well. I wish if this got a little bit more time, and I feel like if there was more drama added to the match, like throughout it, like it probably would have easily gotten 3.5 from me. But both these guys were solid workers at the time. Even Flair, middle-aged and crazy, if I could use the Terry Funk term for a minute, like he held his own and he guided a very young Carlito through this match, and it was really, really solid. Flair also,
all jokes aside about Carlito, one of the things that really hurt him was not having a fucking finisher.
Yeah, I don't know.
His matches with low blows, with pulling the tights, with putting his feet on the ropes. I know he had the fucking overdrive, but that is the worst finisher.
Fuck that move. Did he establish the backstabber by this point, or did that come later?
That's not until after WrestleMania.
Okay, all right, got it.
He might start using the back cracker a little bit after that.
That's the same move.
I know, but he was calling it the back cracker before.
Yeah.
That, but you know, the backstabber really like cemented him. That really made me feel like fucking finally.
Yeah, he finally has a devastating finisher.
I feel like that what Carlito was missing. And like I said, his first 2 years in WWE were very rough. And a lot of it really attests to he didn't have a fucking finisher.
Yeah, but he's going to continue to prove that he's not mid. But it should also be mentioned. It should also. Hold on. It should also be mentioned during Flair's promo that he wishes his best pal Triple H was here to celebrate. Put a pin in that for later. Put a pin in that. Refer back to this podcast when we talk about Taboo Tuesday next month.
Yeah, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to sit here and say regardless how you feel, because I feel like that's meant for people that still should be held to some sort of, you know, degree. I'm going to say Vince McMahon is a horrible, horrendous piece of shit.
Yeah.
But the storytelling was still very good at this time. In some aspects.
The long-term
booking, the foreshadowing. This was them planting the seeds for what would happen, hell, at the next pay-per-view.
Well, speaking of Vince McMahon and terrible writing, also during Flair's promo, he said he was going to party in Oklahoma City all night long. So how does he do this, Tomas? Do you want to describe what he does?
He sees some ladies and sitting ringside, and he just tells them to hop the barricade. I don't care if you're a 16-time world champion. I would not let someone just... Imagine that. Imagine watching a wrestler, and then they come up to you. It's like, hey, right here, right now, you know damn well what's going to happen next. He invites these ladies to his limousine, and Flair is ready to have some fun. You know what? I feel like I should just talk about this now. Midway through the show, Flair is having his fun, and he takes a break outside of his limousine, and he pulls out a mysterious bottle of pills.
Yeah.
He takes one, then he takes a couple more, and then he downs the whole bottle.
Yeah, Viagra.
I was going to say, little 11-year-old me didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
A 12-year-old me, that he was popping Viagra.
He was popping Viagra. It was a running segment through the whole show, this limousine. It constantly cut back to it. Before the main event, the ladies do leave. I'll just go ahead and jump the gun and give you the punchline. Flair is exiting the steaming limousine, bare ass, pulls his trunks back up. He has the Intercontinental title belt. He looks like he's had quite the night. and he's walking like, you know, away from the limo, and he does a flare flop. He does a flare flop.
You know what? Back in 05, that was charming. But you look at it now and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy
2024, that segment does not age well, but 2005, the segment was funny. It was a funny ending segment. But anyway, Flair is...
I feel like as a kid, you know, I wasn't alive during Flair's golden age, the WCW days, the WWF days, but we still got a good amount of Flair in the Ruthless Aggression era.
No pun intended.
To the point that when he retired in 2008, I was sad. I was very sad.
Yeah, I still acknowledge that as Ric Flair's last match. By the way, his TNA run never happened. But
yeah, I want my $40 back that I spent a couple years ago. I do.
Anyway,
hey man, when you're told a show is gonna have Karrion Kross, the Motor City Machine Guns, I think Nick Aldis was on that show. When it's a pretty stacked card, I'm like, well, fuck it, I want to check this out. And you know, maybe it won't be that bad. It was bad. I want my $40 back. Anywho, with that being said, up next is usually a match I would probably roll my eyes at, or groan at, or just be upset with the trajectory of. But this was actually just took me by surprise. It is Ashley Massaro and Trish Stratus taking on the newly formed faction of Torrie Wilson, Victoria, and Candice Michelle. Do you remember how we got here? Because I don't.
I don't remember, but a couple things to note here. First of all, let me correct you real quick. It was just a tag team match. You had Candice on the outside as the manager.
I know. I'm just acknowledging the fact. I'm acknowledging
of course. Yeah, no, I get you. But normal tag team match here. Trish Stratus, by the way, this is her first pay-per-view appearance since Backlash, and she's been the women's champion this entire time. And she's been on the shelf with an injury, holding the women's title hostage because Vince McMahon did not feel like putting it on Victoria in the meantime. Or call me crazy, putting it on Christy Hemme in the meantime. Like,
you know, here's my thing, and we've talked about this before. The solution was so easy, considering Victoria's in a brand new faction, which I think breathed a little bit of life into her. And you know, when Trish Stratus left, Victoria had just turned heel. She joins this faction. It was so easy to book. You put the title on Victoria. You have her establish this new faction. Torrie Wilson, for the first time in her WWE career, is heel.
Yeah.
I did not think it was going to work as well as it did. She basically formed a little Mean Girls troupe. It's her, Victoria, and Candice Michelle, who is making her debut.
Candice debuted at the Great American Bash as the special guest referee. I think she was another Diva Search finalist who ended up being signed. But you know, we haven't talked about Ashley Massaro a lot. And it's just very, very ill-timed that we are. Rest in peace, Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley, you know what? I'm gonna pay a little tribute to her. Ashley was cool as fuck. I thought she was cool as fuck.
She was so Ashley Massaro was the 2005 Raw Diva Search winner, the second annual competition, the successor to Christy Hemme. I thought Ashley was so much cooler. You know, hearing more and more about her and like her passion for the business and her wanting to get better and like actually wanting to go to wrestling school and actually go back down to OVW and learn, but they just, because she was the Diva Search winner, they just shoved her out on TV. It's like,
you know, and again, we're not bringing up this topic because we like talking about grim and uncomfortable things.
No,
we're bringing this up for awareness, and we all know that Ashley Massaro is no longer with us. And again, we put it every time this happens. If you or anyone else you love is having thoughts of self-harm, please call the hotline. There is someone out there that loves you. And that is literally the reason why Ashley should still be with us. And considering hearing about everything that happened in Kuwait, and it's disgusting. It's truly disgusting. More details coming out, like her time in the business, how they mistreated her and all the other ladies. How Ashley herself begged Stephanie to go to developmental. When's the last time you heard that?
So she could learn. So she could get better. She could get better as a wrestler because she was getting hurt. You know, like she didn't want to get hurt in there. So who can blame her?
Again, it was you want to talk about somebody that is clear as day was influenced by Lita. She just had that cool punk girl look. And again, like all jokes aside, you know, people might say, and if you are making jokes about Ashley, go fuck yourself. I thought she was cool as fuck as a kid. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
like she
No,
had the backwards hat, she had the piercing, she had the tattoo. She was just like, she was cool.
she was a
And to
badass,
see
dude.
her in this, to see her in this position, teaming with the women's champion, was, I feel like a good stepping stone for her. Also, to bring more things on a lighter note, this is also where Torrie Wilson debuted her dog Chloe, who got so over that
Oh,
she had her own she had her own profile on .com. I remember these were the days where I would spend hours just scrolling through WWE.com, looking at pictures and remember, because this is pre YouTube, this is pre WWE Network, this is pre Peacock, and I
yeah.
would spend hours scrolling through photos and videos and reading interviews and reading championship history, going through the rosters, and
Watching videos.
roster, and I saw a profile for her dog. And I'm like, wow, the dog is that over. And Torrie Wilson would get her dog involved in the matches too.
Somebody,
Chloe do her own little stink face to people.
somebody call Rene Dupree and ask him if Fifi's okay.
Fifi versus Chloe, the WrestleMania match we never got.
I know, right? Yeah, that's a WrestleMania 22 dream match that we never got.
So yeah, you might call this a random faction, but I feel like Torrie Wilson, Victoria, and Candice Michelle, they all worked very well together. Like Victoria was, the heavy. Torrie Wilson was kind of like the leader and the brains of the group, and Candice Michelle was like the valet who would always get involved and stuff. It's a very underrated faction.
Yeah, Torrie was the brains, Victoria was the brawn, and all due respect to the other two, Candice was the beauty, if I'm going to use Survivor terms for a second. So it was a perfect... It was a great three-headed monster there. So
why would you not slap the title on one of them, even if it was Torrie Wilson?
I would fucking love that. I would have loved that. But that's probably why Torrie jumped over to Raw to actually get a shot at the women's title, but she never got it.
For Stratus, probably the greatest female wrestler of all time, Ashley Massaro, a student of the game who was really putting her work in. Victoria, we've praised her enough on this channel. And Torrie Wilson may not be the greatest wrestler in the world, but she has the smarts for the business. You put all that together, and this was actually a pretty damn decent tag match.
It was,
all things considered.
It surprised the hell out of me, dude. I thought it was really good. I thought Ashley did a really good job as the heat girl in there. Victoria and Torrie were constantly isolating Ashley over in their corner. And they actually do the false hot tag spot as well, which I love in these tag team matches. You think that Ashley gets the tag to Trish. The referee does not see it. He is restraining Trish, and Victoria and Torrie pull Ashley right back and continue beating the crap out of her. It's
just like, you look, again, and I know it's just like, they don't give a shit about the women around this era, but it's like, this could have been like a 6-month feud right here.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like they could have hot potatoed the title a little because, and I mean, maybe not 6-month feud, maybe like a 3-month feud because we know we're going to get into something very good going into WrestleMania. Oh my God, we're going to get into something very fucking good.
Let's freaking go, man.
Considering Trish Stratus was injured, and instead of taking the title off her, they could have done something with this faction. Is all I'm trying to say.
They could have. They definitely could have. But
I thought they all well molded together very well. There was very little botches. There was actually some very good sequences in here. I actually, this is probably one of the best women's matches of this era.
Stratus's hot tag sequence was freaking phenomenal, dude. Like, she gets the hot tag and the crowd goes absolutely apeshit for Trish. She goes in there, hits some head scissors on Torrie, which she sells really well also. She ends up, Candice tries distracting the referee. Trish disposes of her really quick. And then she hits a chick kick on her old rival Victoria and pins her. Puts over the chick kick as a lethal finisher, doesn't it? But think about this though. The women's champion is on this team. Do you really want her losing right now?
Ashley Massaro could have taken the pin. And again, like, you have this new heel faction with the brand new heel Torrie Wilson, with Candice Michelle that's trying to get herself on the map, with Victoria, who needed this. Again, it's just like they could have done a lot more with this. Just to bury the lead, Trish Stratus is going to go well over a year with this women's championship. And I feel like she didn't need to be women's champion for over a year. Yeah, and, in a better sense, she could be very dominant. But considering it was just straight up 5 of those months were just, they didn't want to take the title off of her.
She holds this title for at least another 6 months, dude. Like she's holding, like she is clutching onto the women's title with an iron fist. Yeah, it's nuts. But
and it's not because she's super well booked and she's dominant. It's because she got injured and Vince was like, I don't give a fuck about that belt, so just fucking keep it on her for like.
Nobody gives a fuck about the Intercontinental Championship.
I'm gonna give this match 2.5 stars.
I'm gonna match it, believe it or not.
Yeah,
this surprised the hell out of me. I mean, like, in terms of overall wrestling quality, it was a pretty basic tag team match, but it had enough cool little tropes in there and enough good selling to really put it over the top as a little. I don't want to say it was average, but I mean, for a women's match of the era, like, yeah, this was definitely like a better women's match that we got around this time.
Considering women's wrestling isn't really going to be taken seriously for another 8 years, this was good. It was. And
Trish,
by say taken seriously, I mean AJ and Caitlyn were actually starting to make people give a damn. When Charlotte Flair and Natalya start making people give a damn. And then in 2015, we were off to the races. Yeah. There was a time, I want to say between like 2017 and 2020, where I was enjoying. And you know what? I'm not saying to this degree now, because I really enjoy it now. You got Rhea Ripley, you got Bianca Belair, you got Io Sky, you got Beast on the roster nowadays.
Bailey.
There was a time between, like 2017, 2018, and 2020 where I was enjoying what the women were doing more than what the men were doing.
Yep. I was too. Believe it or not. The women going on last at WrestleMania 35 was the right move, considering the build. But in any case, you ready?
I'm going to do everyone a favor, and I'm going to talk about the build to this next match.
What build? There is no build. Up next is going to be the Big Show, Paul White, the large performance, going up against our favorite Gene Snitsky. What the fuck kind of match is this? The Big Show. This is the Big Show's first pay-per-view appearance since Judgment Day. Wasn't on the Vengeance card because he was drafted over to Raw shortly after that. Couldn't appear on the Great American Bash. They had nothing to do for him at SummerSlam. They had to get him on the card in some way.
Before we get to technicalities, I'm not saying the Big Show like just fucking stunk up the joint while he was on Raw, but we are far removed of the days from that monster Big Show on SmackDown, throwing Kurt Angle off a balcony, winning, being the first person to pin Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
You're being like one of the top baby faces on SmackDown because, he's going to do something kind of fun in the next month, which I actually really dug. But after that, this is the beginning of the end for show.
Yeah, this is the heaviest the Big Show has ever been, like clocking in around
500 pounds.
507 pounds, I want to say. He's growing his hair back. He's growing his
hair back. They were talking about this.
Thinning, and he's also, sorry to cut you off, but he is also white meat babyface Big Show. Completely earnest, like the crowd absolutely loves a bit of this guy, and he is just like shaking hands and kissing babies. He is far removed from the monster that he used to be, as you referred.
Yeah. Exactly. And, like I said, he's going to do something fun. But from here, probably until like mid-2006, this is a rough one. This is a very, very rough one. And I don't want to be the very lead. I'm saying that I'm finally agreeing with everyone else that his ECW title run was very underrated. But we will get there when we get there. It also does not help that the WWE was promoting him being at 525 pounds.
All right.
As a compliment? What? You didn't like his ECW title run? You didn't like him being an absolute on that brand?
We'll get to that. It's a bit too early to talk about it.
WWE, it was not a compliment to be parading around the fact that Big Show was damn near 550 pounds.
Yeah.
But oh boy, let's talk about this feud. Okay. Look,
Snitsky has interesting.
Look, listen to me.
Okay, I'm listening.
We are in the year 2024. Whatever you want to be into, that is okay. I don't shame. I don't judge. As long as you are not hurting yourself, anyone else, and it doesn't involve animals or children, you go right the fuck ahead. I will not judge you. But Vince, in his fucked up mind, wanted to put this gimmick on the Snitsky. I feel bad for Snitsky.
Yeah,
I
far
feel
removed
bad for him, considering what a hoss he was. But
far
they gave him the weirdest fucking gimmicks ever.
far removed from him killing babies. He went from that to what?
Okay, so we are backstage on a segment of Raw, and here we have good old ditzy, innocent little Maria Kanellis. And she is trying to do her job as a backstage correspondent. And she's wearing some open-toed heels, and Snitsky likes that. So he asks Maria to take her shoe off. And of course, Maria does it because she doesn't know any better. And Snitsky is like fucking salivating over this. And so the Big Show, being the big old friendly, jolly gentleman that he is, sticks his foot in Snitsky's face and starts basically kink shaming Snitsky, screaming at him, saying, like, what? You like feet, huh? You like feet? So basically, this feud is Big Show's kink shaming.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Big Show kink shaming.
Snitsky, regardless of what your kink is, you gotta hold yourself to some decorum.
Yeah.
You can't be like a salivating zombie over the thing that you love.
So how WWE?
That's not what WWE is going to promote this feud.
No, they're promoting this feud. They're promoting this feud as Snitsky nailing Big Show with a ring bell after a match on Monday Night Raw. Don't even make any sort of mention that the Big Show is kink shaming Snitsky here. So we'll just go with what.
They don't even bring it up. They don't even bring it up in the match. But Snitsky having a foot fetish is going to be a running gag on Monday Night Raw, like well past WrestleMania. And yeah. I don't even want. Oh my god! When we get to that segment, when we get to that backstage segment, holy shit! This match fucking sucked.
Yeah,
this match fucking sucked.
This wasn't very good, was it?
And we have praised Snitsky for being like one of the most underrated hosses around this time, but it's really hard to see his work ethic when he is given the worst gimmicks of all time. And
yeah.
This isn't his worth with Kane. This isn't his performance in the Survivor Series match. This is him and 550-pound Big Show just like trying to slog their way through a very painful 6 minutes.
Well, I'll give these guys credit for trying to tell a story with Big Show selling the arm, because there was a point, I think, where he went for a clothesline and he hit the ring post instead, and then Snitsky was like, he sees a huge bullseye on the arm, and Snitsky decides to start using holds, and he starts locking in an arm bar, and I'm like,
but that's
big
elementary storytelling.
Yeah,
that's what every heel's gonna do.
You're a big 300-pound hoss. The Big Show's a big 525-pound hoss. I want to see you guys like freaking go at it like Godzilla and King Kong. You know, it's like, that's not what I want to see, is like exchanging holds. You know, like I want to. Yeah.
Very, very, very painful. There is nothing to this match. Big Show hits a choke slam, pins Snitsky, and then his music's playing, and he just like buries this poor man.
He does. Poor Snitsky, man.
Poor
Snitsky.
Music goes, choke slams him again. Music goes, and Big Show's halfway up the ramp, and then decides, no, he has to go back. And then he hits Snitsky with the ring bell. Poetic justice, I guess.
Oh, I mean, I could have sworn he pulled a shovel out of the ring and buried his career 6 feet under.
It's just so weird because I get it. Big Show's the babyface. He's trying to get his revenge. But at this point, it's just like, Show, you made your point. You made your point. There was a time like around 2017, 2018, where I really fucking hated how Brock Lesnar had to beat down a guy, German him 5 times, hit a F5, and then he would leave the ring. And then he'd come back and then he'd F5 him again. And then he would leave the ring again. And then he'd come back and then he'd F5 him through the announce table.
Good measure.
And he would leave. And then he would come back and F5. It's like, okay, I think I fucking get it.
Hey, at least the crowd likes it. At least the crowd likes it.
As a heel, I understand it. I once went to an independent wrestling show where this tag team, they gave their finisher to a heel manager, okay? And then we started chanting one more time. So they did it again to him. And then they proceeded to give this poor man their finisher, which I think was like a combination like powerbomb neck breaker. They gave this man this finisher 5 times.
Jesus Christ.
Overkill.
Yeah, that's overkill. Overkill. Mm-hmm.
So even when you're the babyface, it gets to a point where it's just like, okay, when do you become the bully?
You proved your point. You proved your point.
Really teetering on that fine line.
Big Show just looks like a massive villain going out there and beating up Snitsky some more. Massive bully. Yeah. Snitsky for having a foot fetish. Yeah. So Big Show's just going to go out there and bully him some more. Why not? You know?
Big Show, where were you when Heidenreich violated Michael Cole? He was the man that deserved this beat down. Where were you when Snitsky was punting babies into the audience?
Well, see, that's not kink shaming. That's not kink shaming, Tomas. That's gay shaming if he beats up Heidenreich for that. At least, you know.
Well, I mean, he violated Michael Cole.
He did. He did.
Straight up violated him.
Freaking molested him. But anyway.
I'm going to give this match, I feel like giving it a star is too generous. I'm going to give it half a star.
Yeah, pretty boring match, huh? Half a star. Not good at all. These two did not mesh together. Really, like these two go in there and they're exchanging holds. Like, again, like, give them some fucking chairs. Give them some weapons. Like, let them use the ring bell. Make it no DQ. Like, let them beat the shit out of each other. Don't let them go in there and wrestle, you know?
This was straight up the definition of we got nothing for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, even though the next match.
No.
You want to talk about the utter disrespect on both sides. Next up, we have Shelton Benjamin going one-on-one with Kerwin White. Who the fuck is Kerwin White?
Chavo Guerrero!
So, once upon a time, Chavo Guerrero got drafted in Monday Night Raw. And all of a sudden, we see this vignette.
Oh my God.
For Chavo, who has now dyed his hair white. He has denounced his name. He's denounced the Guerrero name. He wants nothing to do with the Guerrero name. And now he's playing golf. He's wearing sweater vests. He's wearing ascots. He's at the country club. He's listening to Frank Sinatra is his theme song now. And he's a white guy now.
Oh, sorry, I just had to sink into my chair because I knew where this whole spiel was going. Listen, everybody, listen to me here. The fact that this gimmick, it's not a bad idea. In all honesty, it shouldn't come as any sort of surprise when Vince McMahon around this time in the Ruthless Aggression era is looking to get back into character-based wrestling. You look at characters like Eugene, Simon Dean comes to mind. Those repackagings, those sort of things. Chavo fucking Guerrero is a white man? Are you fucking kidding me? Now he's being billed from Palm Springs, California. He drives down to the ring with a golf cart. His weapon of choice is a 9-iron. Now, if you had called someone up from developmental and shackled this gimmick onto them, like, I don't know, who is coming up? Like if you gave this gimmick to Lance Cade, for example, maybe even I'll say his name. Maybe even Dolph Ziggler.
I was just going to say, maybe if you gave it to the guy that they were going to pair up with Chavo anyway, we might as well talk about that because we're not going to talk about this gimmick on pay-per-view anymore.
No.
For several reasons. Yes, the very first debut of Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler, comes up as Kerwin White's caddy.
Yeah, that's
I know how you feel about Nemeth.
That's where he belongs. That's where he belongs.
He is not a heavy. He's not.
No, he's not.
Nemeth is not a heavy. And that's basically what they were using Nemeth as Chavo's heavy. If you would have given, I don't know how you make this gimmick work, but anywho.
You don't put Chavo in it?
Not only is it disrespectful enough that you are making Chavo, you're whitewashing Chavo, basically, and having him disrespect his family.
Yeah.
I could sort of kind of forgive that if it wasn't for one thing and one thing only. That his catchphrase now is, if it ain't white, it ain't right.
Perhaps Setting aside the fact that Chavo is a Mexican man portraying a white man, setting aside the fact that you're miscasting there, Chavo Guerrero has been very well established on the roster over these past 3 years, and now you're trying to pass him off as a completely different person now. And everybody sees right through it. Everybody was chanting Chavo at him, and...
But here's the thing. Put this into perspective. White Chicks, one of the fucking funniest movies of all time. And it's funny because the Wayans brothers acting like white people as a straight up tongue-in-cheek parody of white people. You know, fucking one of the funniest movies of all time. Wayans Bros, Terry Crews, the whole package. The difference about this is Vince told Chavo to go out there and play this as straight as possible. It's not like Chavo was making fun of white people or playing a caricature of a white person.
He was playing a white person. He was playing a white person, like point blank.
That, but they wanted him, to play as straight as possible. It's not like he was being a caricature. Yeah, all the cliches were there, but they wanted him to play this as straight as possible. And again, the fact that his catchphrase was that, and he's feuding with the black man and Shelton Benjamin, they might as well have had him with a whip. So how did this match come about? I don't fucking know. Benjamin was fighting Chavo on Raw, and here's the thing. Okay, Benjamin versus Chavo on pay-per-view, sign me the fuck up.
Yeah.
But this?
No,
horrible.
You know what the amazing thing is? I liked this match. I really liked this match. These guys had really good chemistry.
Wasn't horrible. And even though Chavo was still wrestling as much as Chavo is possible, the fact that this match straight up exists on pay-per-view is the sheer disrespect to Benjamin. In the short span of 6 months, Benjamin went from being one of the most dominant Intercontinental champions of the era to on his way to main eventing, and now he's in a match in a feud that would be Sunday Night Heat exclusive for the next 6 weeks.
Remember when Shelton was the MVP of the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 21?
Oh, he's still going to be the fucking MVP of that match.
Those were good times, man.
Short spurts.
Those were good times. These two...
I didn't hate the wrestling in this match.
No, it was solid wrestling. It was really solid wrestling. Yeah, but the crowd starts chanting Chavo sucks, and then fucking Jerry Lawler and Jonathan Coachman are sitting on commentary wondering who the crowd is talking about. And I'm like, fucking Chavo! That's fucking Chavo! Like, you're fucking idiots here. But
it's one thing when you say Ole at Sami Zayn because that's an homage, a tribute to one of his old characters. It's one thing, the fact that they joke about Axiom being a kid. Nathan Frazier saying, you would have loved the Heritage Cup matches on NXT UK. It's okay to wink at the camera every now and then. But the fact that they were just straight up pretending Chavo never existed, when literally, a month prior, Chavo was Chavo.
Yeah. He was Chavo. He was Cruiserweight champion on SmackDown, for crying out loud. He was holding a title, and they took it away from him, and they gave him a gimmick in return. Like, I don't like it. I really don't like it. The wrestling was pretty solid. Kerwin White grabs a golf club. He charges at Shelton, and Shelton hits him with a T-bone and pins him in 8 minutes. And that's it. That's it for Kerwin White. You never see him again.
Not only am I surprised that this match had a finish, because I could have swore I had a DQ, I'm surprised Benjamin went over.
It was a clean as a whistle, too.
Kerwin pins Benjamin several times on Heat, and it is... Okay, we're not saying good, and I feel like Chavo was the only person that could ever say this was a blessing in disguise. When Eddie passes away in November, it's one of the greatest, it's like one of the best feel-good moments of his tribute shows. Chavo, like the gimmick never existed, comes out on Raw. Yeah, his hair is still white because he didn't get a chance to dye it, but he's wearing the bandana. He's coming out to his music, and it's the biggest pop Chavo ever gets in his career.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid being so thank God.
He's not a white man anymore.
No. And I'm not saying, of course, Chavo lost his uncle, but Chavo may have been stuck with his gimmick for a very long time if Eddie didn't pass.
Yeah, that's the sad part. That's a really sad
Mhm.
part. Believe it or not, I'm giving this match 2 3/4 stars. I think if it got 10,
Oh no, that's
yeah, way
way
too
too
generous.
generous. I can't do more than a 2.
All right, that's fine. I thought the wrestling was solid enough for me. I enjoyed it.
It
I
was
enjoyed
only
it
8 minutes, and it was just like another, not as bad as Big Show Snitsky, but it made me sit there and wonder, why is this on pay-per-view? Can't go more than a 2.
boy. All right, no, that's fine. Chris Latch special, yeah, no, I can. 2.5, maybe like like
Hey, if you want
closer
to give it
to
2 and
actually
3/4,
built.
by all means. I'm just saying I can't go higher than a 2.
Fair enough. But I don't know, man. That match was just that gimmick. You
What
like
the
those
fuck?
of you watching the video feed of this saw me sink in my chair when we realized that it was Kerwin White up next. But
You
that's
know how we like to
the
plug other channels on our show. If you guys love, like, there's a channel called Marky D123. He's really cool. He will take like the most forgotten gimmicks of all time, and he will break down like every single match they wrestled in. And if you want a full retrospective on the Kerwin White run, he does a video on it.
oh
And I'm not
man,
kidding. He wrestles like 10 matches under this gimmick, and I want to say 95% of them involve Shelton Benjamin.
that's fucking wild. That is wild.
Or, you know,
Those two.
you know what? Let's talk about this. So when I was at that Monday Night Raw, they were, of course, they were taping heat matches so they could show them on the Sunday after. I saw Kerwin White and Nick Nemeth versus Shelton Benjamin and Matt Striker.
What the fuck?
And
What
in
the?
that match, look, my dad knew that I loved Shelton Benjamin, and the fact that he was on the fucking Heat, he was on Heat, and I got so excited for him. In that match, Striker turned heel on Benjamin. Yes, everyone, I can tell you, I was in attendance when Matt Striker turned heel.
Man, those are the tag team champions I never knew I needed. Shelton Benjamin and Matt Striker.
Me and
Good
Striker have a
lord.
very interesting history when you think about it. Seeing him
Oh
turn heel
yeah.
in 2005, my brother, for some reason, wanted to pick a fight with him in 2010. And
Perfect.
then in 2014, it all came full circle when I met him. And let me tell you guys right now, Matt Striker is like the nicest fucking wrestling person in the world. I put him in that category of he needs to be protected at all costs, and like the wrestling world doesn't deserve him.
Oh, we'll get to him. We'll get to him when we get to him. That's for sure. But
yeah, I will definitely like have some words about his career, but as a person, Matt Striker is so fucking cool. The fact that he, has done so much not only with WWE but with TNA and like Lucha Underground, and we're at intermission of the show he's wrestling at, and he just comes out and he just starts casually talking to us.
yeah,
Like we're one of his buddies.
just like just like
No,
your
I was
buddy
just gonna say,
QT Marshall, huh?
I put him in the same tier as QT Marshall.
That's fucking crazy, dude. Speaking of wrestlers that both of us have met, you want to talk about a Matt Hardy match? You want to talk about probably my personal favorite Matt Hardy match ever? Because he's going.
You mean the match of the night? Absolutely.
Yeah, he's going one-on-one with Edge in a 15-foot high solid steel cage with Lita on the outside.
You were talking about Matt Hardy because I was literally going to sit here and say, what are you fucking talking about? I've never met Edge.
No, we're talking. Yeah, I was talking. I said Matt Hardy, you asshole. I said it. You just weren't listening. But anyway,
Okay.
Matt Hardy versus Edge inside a steel cage. This is
Adam Copeland really looked on Edge in this match.
Yeah, this is a grudge match of all grudge matches here.
I'm just gonna ignore my joke, okay?
Yeah, back at SummerSlam, Edge beat Matt Hardy within an inch of his life. Matt Hardy basically wants to get some revenge on him. There was a segment earlier on in this show where Edge and Lita are just kind of talking over strategy and whatnot, and there might have been some making out in there. I don't know. But Matt Hardy is interviewed by Todd Pissum before the match, and he calls Lita a bitch. Of course. Yeah, classy, Matt.
Yeah, they really, when you really look at it, they really disrespected Lita in this latter half of her career.
They did. Remember that she turned heel because she turned on the man who raped her. Let's not forget that. Anyway, she turned on Cade.
Here's the thing. As a 12-year-old, I've never heard the term sex pot before, but that is like the most said phrase in this entire Lita heel run. And I'm just like, even as an adult, like, sex pot? What the fuck?
Yeah. So,
Like, I don't think I've heard that term since this era of wrestling.
yeah. So the rules of a steel cage match are simple. In WWE, you can win by pinfall, submission, or by escaping the cage, which can only mean one thing, Tomas. For Matt Hardy and Edge, there's nowhere for them to run. There is nowhere for them to run. And one of the first things that Edge does in this match is he fucking runs. He tries to climb out of the cage, and it's like, that's how you win. That's how you win a cage match. You know?
Let us remind everyone, like we talked about at SummerSlam, the fact that these two were in a real life shoot feud with each other over this exact thing, but they were able to come together and somewhat put their differences aside to put on this amazing feud on TV. And like, you saw the passion in this match.
This amazing match as well. Believe it or not, this is one of, if it's not in the top 3 best matches of 2005 for me, it's easily top 5. No question about it. This is an unbelievable match. It's one of my favorite one-on-one Matt Hardy matches standalone ever. I don't know if it's one of my favorite Edge matches because he would have a lot of other ones that would definitely top this, but
I'm sorry, I love this match, but you can't say that when him versus Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell exists.
That's true. That is very true. We'll get to that one. These guys, like, even though, joking aside, Edge tries to climb out early on, these guys want to beat the fuck out of one another. And that's exactly what they do. There is color in this match. There's bleeding everywhere. Edge probably bled more than he ever did in his career up to this point. It's just, it's a crazy, crazy match. They're using the cage to their advantage.
What? Everybody talks about Edge winning Money in the Bank. That was like his launching pad. I think this feud was truly what cemented him as a main event heel.
Oh, yeah. It was like Edge was vicious in this match, hitting a stiff missile dropkick to the back of Matt Hardy's fucking head, hits a powerbomb on him, powerbombs him into the cage back first, which looked nasty, and the bump that Matt took was nasty. Powerbombs off the top rope, Hardy sending Edge into the turnbuckle, side effects. These are just a lot of the greatest hits, man. Lita then tries to run interference as someone is trying to escape the cage. It might have been Matt, but Lita slams the door in Matt's head. She climbs in with a steel chair. Once Matt gets his hands on her, the crowd goes absolutely crazy. And it's very dated looking back on this. It feels very dated, just like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's a very, shoot-wise, this situation was very uncomfortable. But every single one of these members of this, every single party has moved past this at this point. And the fact that they were able to put
married and have children of their own, except Lita. I don't think Lita has children.
Yeah, I mean, for them to be able to put this match together is just nothing short of miraculous, man. I don't remember how Edge started bleeding. It might have just been a routine, like, slam headfirst into the steel cage. Hardy hits a twist of fate on his ex-girlfriend, and the crowd loses it at this point. Like, they are like, yes, Matt got revenge on his ex who cheated on him, and I'm like, we were heathens. We were heathens, man. We were absolutely heathens.
We were.
Yeah. Edge tries to climb out. Oh my god. Oh my god, this finish, man. So they're fighting on top of the cage. Edge takes a tumble all the way down to the canvas. Matt Hardy is about to climb out, but he looks down at Edge and the crowd immediately knows where this is going. And JR's like, think about this, Matt. You got to think about this now. Just think about winning the match. Matt does his version 1 salute to the crowd before he leaps off the top rope, hits a big, gigantic Matt Hardy leg drop, and pins Edge off of that. I mean, how did Matt Hardy not break his tailbone? How did he not tailbone off?
Absolutely shatter it. That is a 15-foot drop to nothing but canvas.
Falling flat on his ass, too, with nothing covering.
No give way because his leg is draping across Edge's face.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like this match was fantastic, and this isn't the end of the feud, but it could have been. I feel like this was.
This felt like the end of the feud. This felt like the happy ending that this feud needed. Matt Hardy got his revenge, but
I feel like Matt Hardy, he just suffers from Tommy Dreamer syndrome, that even when he wins, in the end he loses. And I just feel like that was very unfortunate for this feud. But this match, nonetheless, was absolutely fantastic. 4.5 stars. Fuck it. This is my match of the night.
Yeah. I want to go 4 3/4. I really do. I don't think it's 5.
Go for it.
But yeah, 4 3/4. That's what I'm going to do. It's one of the top 5 matches, if not top 3 matches of 2005 for me, with Angle Michaels at Mania 21 and the I Quit match for me. And Hell in a Cell at Vengeance, too. I'll lump it in there with that one. But
it's very important to talk about at the end of this feud that comes Raw Homecoming. When Monday Night Raw returns to the USA Network, Matt Hardy and Edge have a Money in the Bank ladder match, aka a loser leaves Raw match. They put the briefcase on the line, and they decide we can't be on the same show anymore. We're going to end up killing each other. So they have this match to finally put an end to this feud. Edge wins because it's his briefcase. They're not going to take the briefcase off of him. Matt Hardy loses, but Matt Hardy does go to SmackDown after this. So this is a brand new chapter in Matt Hardy's career. I think it was smart, too, considering, again, the real life heat that was here. Again, this was a good thing about those brands, that if this happened, as childish as it may sound, you can separate these two.
Yeah, Matt was on SmackDown for a good while after this, too. Like, he was banished to the Blue Show, and he would stay there for a good few years.
4 years, I think.
God, man. I mean, like, he didn't go to ECW? I thought he
did. But that was just to be, he stays on SmackDown for 3 years. Then he gets dropped into Raw for, I'm not kidding, like 3 months. And then he goes right back to SmackDown. So he can be with Jeff before he leaves.
God, man, yeah, that's crazy. But Matt Hardy, probably one of the biggest singles wins of his career, which is crazy. Even though Matt Hardy suffers from Tommy Dreamer syndrome, he just won't get out of my fucking life. But this was an amazing match. It was really an amazing match. I got to give props to both these guys.
And I feel like this was the birth of the I Will Not Die gimmick for Matt.
Because Edge beat him within an inch of his life at SummerSlam, and Matt decides to come back in one of the most hellacious stipulation matches that you could think of, a 15-foot high steel cage. These two...
Again,
go ahead.
The steel cage is where feuds go to die.
Yeah, I thought that was Hell in a Cell, but...
Hey, whatever structure you want to put them in, as old school as a cage is, this should be where feuds go to die. But, they had to put an emphatic stamp on this feud. They had to, Edge was on a roll, and I feel like they couldn't disrupt his momentum too much. It's just like, in an alternate universe, you could pretend that this was the end of the feud. And if it was, it could have been.
And even though you say that, even though Edge lost, I didn't really feel like this match derailed his momentum whatsoever. Like, this was just a way to kind of give Matt Hardy his revenge. Yeah, he does get his win back. He does banish Matt Hardy to SmackDown, all things considered. But this match, I feel like, was put together to kind of placate the fans who might have been disappointed in the SummerSlam match and give them a proper, revenge-filled finale for Matt Hardy. So, and provide some sort of...
like we said for the SummerSlam review, if you were disappointed about that, they more than well make up for it in this one.
This match was amazing. If there's one match that you should go back and watch from this show specifically, it's got to be this cage match right here. So,
it is.
Oh yeah, go watch it. I want to go watch it again. It was awesome.
Now we have our obligatory cooldown match, but it's an obligatory cooldown match with some significance behind it. We have Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch making their pay-per-view debut against the tag team champion Hurricane and Rosey. Hurricane and Rosey, they've been champions for a hot minute. They won the titles back at Backlash. But like we said on the SmackDown side with Eminem, this was one of Vince's favorite things to do. He's got this brand new shiny tag team that no one's seen before, and he immediately wants to slap the tag team titles on them because the tag team division wasn't shit back then. And, anything new, they just wanted, completely tall to the top. Let's give a little background about these two. We have Lance Cade, as we know as Garrison Cade.
Yes.
He is re-debut back to the company. Trevor Murdoch, however, is the son of Big Dick Murdoch, who is an evil person in his own right, but we won't go too much into that. regardless of how I feel about that, I thought Cade and Murdoch were just like not the perfect tag team, but it's just like you look at
What?
them both, you put them together. I did not the perfect
Wow.
tag team. I did not say
Fair
that.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You put these two together, you saw their vignettes. They were basically just a cowboy and a redneck. Lance Cade was the cowboy. Trevor Murdoch was the tobacco chewing, ugly as fuck, trailer park trash redneck.
This was a great tag team. Like, it seems like these were guys that met like at an Armadillo Willie's, and they decided, hey, you want to go and fight some people? Like,
like they had great chemistry together, not only in the ring, but like those promos we talked about, they cut in the bars.
Yeah.
But again, they get on the scene and they talk about it on commentary. Cade and Murdoch immediately pinned the tag champs. And
they
this
did.
is how they get this tag team title shot. There is a running gag in this match that Murdoch wants to make out with Lillian Garcia. I get it.
Murdoch's fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, but he just like goes up to, he's like slobbering over her, and he's like trying to yank her by the arm to go with her. And thank God, the gentleman that Gregory Helms is, Hurricane, comes in for the save because he's a superhero. But after that, it's just like, what the fuck? This was so unnecessary.
I have to say this part also before I forget. You mentioned Trevor Murdoch was the son of Big Dick Murdoch. Looking at Lance Cade and his repackaging, like, I don't go back and rewatch old school wrestling a lot of the time, but as someone who recently watched the Iron Claw not too long ago, just seeing the way I almost said the gimmick right there. The way Lance Cade presented himself here, he looked and felt a lot like the late David Von Erich to me, the Yellow Rose of Texas, just with a cowboy hat and like because David Von Erich was a tall guy too, and Lance Cade, I think, also towered above a lot of opponents around 6'6". And tragic to say, another tragic parallel is Lance Cade was taken from us way too soon at 29 years old. But these two, it was a really solid tag team in hindsight, I thought.
It was, and it was exactly what the tag division needed. But again, like Vince just wanted to slap the titles on these guys the minute they got brought up. And it's like they say, once you reach the top, there's nowhere else to go but down.
Yeah, Hurricane and Rosey were the champions going in. We haven't seen them since they actually won the titles at Backlash. They were probably defending them on the Heat circuit because Vince probably didn't feel like the World Tag Team titles were important on these guys, which is a damn shame because those two guys were a very endearing team.
They were.
Rosey is a member of the Bloodline, too. How dare he disrespect him?
Oh, yeah, and then let's talk about the most important spot in the match. I will say, again, say what you want about the Murdoch family, but Trevor hits a nasty DDT on Hurricane on the outside, and Hurricane sold it beautifully.
It was a draping DDT, too. Like Randy Orton style before Randy Orton implemented that, and they sold that like it was just the most devastating move ever. Like it was the end of Hurricane's career. And like the medics
takes Hurricane out of the rest of the match. Murdoch and Cade have their way, with Rosey. And before Hurricane can even make it back in the ring, they hit their sweet and sour finish, which is a clothesline with a it's a clothesline with a clipping of the knee, which I thought was a really cool finisher.
Yeah, like a leg sweep or something like that, like sweep the leg sensei. But Hurricane tries to make the heroic comeback, even though he is clearly on another planet here. He looks like he just came from fucking Mars. He's pinned by Trevor Murdoch, and these rookies are the new champions here. I don't want to say it was super eventful. I'm going to give this match 2 stars. I mean, it was, it was okay enough. These guys leave with the titles, and Hurricane is finally helped to the back, and this is an interesting little statistic here because this is the last time on pay-per-view that we actually see Gregory Helms don the Hurricane outfit for a long time.
Yes, because let me tell you about this. I was in attendance when Hurricane basically turned heel. To talk about that segment real quick because it's important, because we're not going to talk about Gregory Helms for a minute. He's going to be very important on pay-per-view, but not for a minute. So I was at the Raw so Hurricane's backstage and he confronts Kurt Angle. Not to bury the lead, but Kurt Angle is very upset after what happens at the end of this pay-per-view. And he encounters Angle and Vince, and Hurricane is, talking shit to Vince. And I will say, this line still lives rent-free in my head. Vince looks at Angle and says, "Sick 'em, Kurt." And he goes, "Huh? Sick 'em, Kurt?" And he
That's
goes,
a
"Oh, okay."
that's a it's a Stand By Me reference if I ever heard it. Who said Vince
Yeah.
didn't watch old movies?
So Angle beats the shit out of the Hurricane throughout the entire arena in the ring. But after he does that, Rosey finally comes down to check on his superhero mentor. And Hurricane is just so upset. He's done. He shoves Rosey to the side. He walks up the ramp. He takes his mask and he throws it on the ground. He might as well have thrown his costume in the trash can, Spider-Man No More style. It was such a gut punch to see that Hurricane was done with this iconic gimmick that's, it was only 3 years old, or 4 years old, but it was so important to my childhood because he was the Hurricane when I first started watching. And just to see it basically be an end of an era.
Yeah, it really was the end of an era because I loved the Hurricane. I had the T-shirts when I was a kid, and I had the mask when I was a kid also. I was a big fan of his. And to see him just kind of shake that all off, just like you said, Spider-Man No More, that comic, it's devastating. Devastating to a young kid like me.
Yeah, Shane Helms doesn't want to be the Hurricane anymore. What's up with
that? I knew where you were going.
And, and again, you talk about my favorite era of Hurricane is when he was feuding with The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Any better than that. That shit was hilarious.
Him sitting in the closet.
The Hurricane could beat the Hurricane could beat the Scorpion King. That Rock played so well. Hurricane.
Oh, Cacao, hello. Hey, it's nothing. He says he knows you. You're nothing. Oh, don't laugh at the jokes.
Oh, it's just a hamburger. The officers arrest him.
He finds
guilty for smuggling chicken McNuggets up his ass.
My favorite thing is The Rock opening up the closet to his dressing room and the Hurricane being in there. And then he's like, "Excuse The Rock 1 second." Closes the closet. Hurricane's still in there. Jumps out. The Rock's like, "How long have you been sitting in there?"
And then, of course, my favorite. "Oh, The Rock knows you." "Yeah, of course The Rock knows you. You're the Hamburglar." "Now get out here and go get The Rock a hamburger. No ketchup."
Go give me a Big Mac, no pickles.
No ketchup. It's just the Hamburglar. He's guilty for smuggling chicken McNuggets.
Yeah, he's got the H on your chest. Yeah, you're the Hamburglar. Grimace.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Those are like my Rock and Hurricane. They had something else. They had something else.
How this tag team title contest turned into just reminiscing about our favorite Hurricane memories is beyond me. But I think, again, this is the last time we're going to be talking about the Hurricane for a while. But
hey, I guarantee, maybe not guarantee, but a very good chance if you cut this part of the review out and put it on Twitter and tag Shane Helms, he'd appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Oh, man. What do we got next, Tomas? What do we got next? We got Shawn Michaels in his follow-up to his match against Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam going up against Chris Masters. So, Shawn Michaels has turned back into a babyface because, he just wanted to see if he would be able to do it, but in reality, the whole gimmick is that Hogan and Shawn were supposed to have a trilogy of matches. One of those matches was supposed to be on this show, believe it or not. Shawn was probably going to beat him, which leads to a rubber match at Survivor Series down the line. But Hogan didn't want to do the job for Shawn, brother, and he took his ball and he went home. Shawn basically was shooting on...
Michaels even said in his promo, it was a good match last night, but Hulk Hogan has left the building.
Mm-hmm. Hogan's left the building, and Shawn is practically being punished for overselling all of Hogan's offense at SummerSlam to try and get a good match out of a very young 23-year-old, muscle-bound, undefeated monster in the masterpiece here, a statue.
So,
Shawn Michaels,
jokes aside, we can all tell that Chris Masters was Vince's pet project. He put a lot of effort into this guy.
Yeah.
I will say, his presentation, his appearance was pretty damn good.
But how
Masters' first big feud.
You can only really go so far in the business if your gimmick is just a statue.
Yeah, because honestly, that's what Masters was. He was a statue. He had a great look. He had fantastic presentation. The man had the charisma of a bowl of cereal that's been sitting out for the past 3 days.
It's unfortunate, which is unfortunate. And he had a chance. He had a chance to show off some of his charisma, not just in terms of his whole career, but his interview with Maria beforehand. And Maria completely outshone him in this interview. It's bless Maria's heart, but her line was, the gimmick is, because she's stupid, she asks Chris Masters. She's a little ditz. She's a little ditz. She doesn't know any better. Maria basically asks Chris, hey, Chris Masters, why do you call yourself the Masturbate? And Chris Masters gets really flustered, and he's like, first of all, it's the masterpiece. And I'm like, you're not really helping yourself. Not really helping yourself much there. But
yeah, it's just, so all jokes aside, this was Masters' big test. This was his test to basically prove not only to Vince, but to the company and to this was his chance to show that he could be a main eventer. But that's the thing. I don't want to put all of this blame on the Chris Masters, because they expected a lot out of this man when he hadn't been on pay-per-view at all, when he not really had been in any television feuds that much, when he's basically been doing the Master Lock Challenge. And now he's being tasked to go out there second to last with the greatest pro wrestler of all time. And have a good match. And you could tell from the very get-go of this match, Masters had a chip on his shoulder.
And he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. I mean, he tried his damnedest, and Shawn tried his damnedest to get at least somewhat of a solid match out of him. And I did enjoy the match for what it was. But think about this for a second. I mean, developmental did exist back in the day. A developmental system did exist with OVW. But imagine if Chris Masters was put into the NXT system. Imagine if Chris Masters was born 10 years later and he was put into the 2015 NXT with guys like Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Hideo Itami, Shinsuke Nakamura, all these guys that he could learn from and really hone his craft. He didn't have
that. Like, he could be under the tutelage of Dusty Rhodes. He could be under the tutelage of Matt Bloom. He could have learned so much. And it's just, here's why I have to disagree with you. I really like this match.
Yeah,
you can tell Chris Masters had a chip on his shoulder. He knew he had to go out there and put on a good showing. And I will give him credit that his power moves were very good.
They were.
Great intensity. Shawn Michaels sold his ass off for him, and he bumped his ass off for him.
He did.
Shawn Michaels knew his role in this, and that was basically to make this guy look as good as possible. And like I said, Shawn Michaels is the greatest storyteller of all time. Shawn Michaels when he puts his mind into that mindset, he knew his role in this match, and he did his damnedest to, and I thought they told a great story in this match.
I think they did
it was
too.
A great story of Shawn Michaels trying to avoid this big brute, trying to, outsmart in the beginning by, tricking Masters into running into the steel post. But when Masters got his hands on Shawn Michaels, he tossed this guy around. And Michaels bumped his ass off for him.
Yeah, I never said I disliked the match, though. I mean, for what they had, I think they did a hell of a job. Shawn Michaels did a hell of a job. Chris Masters, I think, did his best to live up to the challenge. But again, I'll just say this right now on the record. At 22 years old, Masters wasn't ready for this stage.
No.
You could definitely tell that he was still very green and that Shawn had a huge task ahead of him. It was still...
And I will say, too, what really helped this match? The crowd was really into it.
Oh, yeah. Every time Chris Masters locked in his full Nelson submission, they sold it like, oh my God, Shawn can't get out of it. I know, it's the same thing. It's the same fucking
Master Lock.
I just didn't say Master Lock that time.
The Master Lock that he passed on to Lashley.
Yes, he did. Yeah, the full Lashley. The full Lashley.
Gave him his blessing. Lashley could not use the Hurt Lock if it wasn't for Chris Masters.
Yeah, why was he using Lex Luger's submission move, the torture rack?
He was.
I mean, if he already had his own submission, why even go down to the well and get Lex Luger's submission? It, it doesn't make
very
sense to me.
odd psychology choice for Masters, and I feel like this match should have revolved around the Master Lock, considering it was a devastating finisher. Like, this finisher was very protected for another year or so.
So Chris Masters locks in the Master Lock, or the full Lashley, whatever you want to call it. Shawn Michaels grabs the referee's t-shirt, and he grabs the referee's shirt. He's distracting him. He's trying to help, like, hey, help me out of this hold. Help me out of this hold. I can't do a Shawn impression.
I don't know what it is with Shawn Michaels and just, clutching onto referees for dear life.
Yeah, he's clutching onto this referee, and he hits Masters. He takes Masters to Dick Kick City, and that's the great equalizer right there. That's how you break the Master Lock, is you kick Masters right in the penis. That's how you do it. That is how you do it, man.
Oh,
but
yeah, like I said, they have to keep this finisher strong.
Yes, yeah, they do. But the crowd is absolutely going ballistic for Shawn Michaels. They're chanting HBK everywhere. They're just so behind everything.
Yeah,
Michaels,
and like I said, Masters' power moves were very good. Whenever he's hitting a power slam or a backbreaker or a power bomb or a military slam, they looked good. And a lot of that had to do with Michaels selling his ass off for him.
Yeah, so Masters locks in his submission hold again, the Master Lock, and then in a very clever maneuver here, Shawn climbs the ropes and goes over the top rope to the apron, which means that Masters has to break it. It's a rope break. So, you can't exactly, this is a very smart move here, because you're in a full Nelson, right? Like, you can't really grab the ropes for a break. You can't do anything like that. So what Shawn does as the smaller guy is he's climbing the ropes. He's using his agility to break the hold here, or force a break, rather. He's not breaking the Master Lock himself, but Masters is forced to break.
Nobody could physically break out of the Master Lock.
Yeah.
So a lot of wrestlers had to find different ways to get out, and Shawn Michaels, as we know, is the master of skinning the cat. So that's exactly what he did, and he found a different way out of here. I feel like this match, it was great, and I feel like I'm not saying the wrong guy went over. I'm just saying, could you imagine what this could have done for Chris Masters if you won?
Oh, I don't know, man, because Chris Masters, I think, still looks pretty strong in defeat. Shawn still did not break out of the Master Lock himself. Anytime the Master Lock was broken, it was because of Chris Masters having to break it himself. Shawn hits Chris Masters with a gorgeous Sweet Chin music, which, again, Masters sold really well, I thought. Credit to him where it's due. Loud snap on that as well. Shawn gets the pinfall win. It got 17 minutes? Jesus Christ.
It did.
Yeah.
And I don't think it dragged at all. I thought these two told an excellent story, and you know what? You're going to say I'm crazy for this, but 3 3/4 stars.
Wow.
Easily the best match of Masters' career. And again, it also really helped that the crowd was as into it as it was. It really made me feel like Shawn Michaels earned that victory. That you can say Masters took Michaels to the limit. Never thought I could say that.
For someone who is talking all that crap about Masters in the build-up to this match, I'm shocked that you gave it that rating.
I don't remember this match being this good. But again, he's wrestling my favorite wrestler of all time.
Yeah,
Michaels is just the king of, not getting everyone over, but making him look as good as possible.
Yeah, you're eating a lot of crow this weekend, I'm seeing. But I am going to be giving this match 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot better than I was expecting as well. It was just, there were just a few too many points in there where I could sense that Chris Masters was a little bit too green for some of the stuff that was going on. But
you put him in the ring with anybody else. If this was even if this was like John Cena, I don't think this match would have been this good. You would have put him in there like with Big Show or Kane. We'd be singing a different tune. But again, he's wrestling the greatest of all time.
He is. He is
my greatest of all time.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing for him, for sure. A blessing, no pun intended, as Shawn is a very religious gentleman. But it's a very, very solid match, I thought. I think it's one of Masters' best matches of his career, if not his very best match. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it, man. But main event time already.
Oh, yes. I like to call this in in this series of John Cena versus his villains, John Cena is defending his WWE Championship against the wrestling machine, Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this was the definition of out of the frying pan and into the fire. Like we talked about in our SummerSlam review, the night after SummerSlam, Chris Jericho was given one more chance at the WWE Championship. And at this time, it was a loser leaves town match. Cena is able to defeat Jericho to retain the championship.
Your
Jericho
fired match. Your fired match.
Jericho was literally carried out of the arena kicking and screaming. A very poetic exit for Jericho, I might say. And, we won't be seeing him for another couple years. But literally right after that, Cena is attacked by the wrestling machine. Angle has his gold medals back, and he wants the WWE Championship. The only difference is now he doesn't care whose ankle he has to snap to get that title. And Angle is towering over. I love this image too. Angle is holding the WWE Championship over Cena's lifeless body. Bischoff gets off the mic and said, "Congratulations, Cena. At Unforgiven, you'll be defending your title against Kurt Angle." Boom. Simple build. That's all you needed.
This is my favorite iteration of Kurt Angle. And I can't, I'm just so excited that we get to talk about the wrestling machine now, just because I mean, the goofy shit was funny. Like, every single goofy segment that Kurt Angle has ever had, I will laugh my ass off still to this very day. But when Kurt Angle is no-nonsense, legitimate athlete, doesn't matter whose ankle he has to snap to get the trophy that he's looking for in this case, I love the wrestling machine, man. I can't put it into enough words. But
it's like you said, this isn't 2003. Oh, the respect match. Angle respects Cena. Cena respects Angle. And this is what I love the most about Angle's, his character at this point. He only has one motivation and one goal, no matter what he has to do. He wants the WWE Championship. Nothing else. He doesn't care about glory. He doesn't care about respect. He doesn't care about, getting better run over his opponent. He wants the WWE Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And what a damn shame. Sorry to bury this lead, but it's a damn shame he never got the WWE Championship.
Nope.
Considering how hell-bent he was on getting it.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely insane because he has 3 pay-per-view title shots against John Cena, and he fails every single one. By technicality, he actually did win this match, but he doesn't take the title with him. So
you know what? In an alternate universe, Angle should have been the one to take the title off Cena.
In alternate universe, but Angle will have a different title by the time WrestleMania comes around, and stick around for WrestleMania 22 and the start of the 2006 retro. But this is the 3rd singles pay-per-view match that Angle and Cena have ever had. Both the matches that we've talked about on this retro at No Mercy 03 and at No Way Out earlier this year in 2005, both of them I feel like we've talked about ad nauseum of how great they are. I gave the No Mercy match, I believe that was a 4-star match, and the No Way Out match, same thing. So you can only imagine how great the wrestling was here. And the crowd was actually very pro Cena in this. You didn't have massive amounts of 18 and over booing John Cena at this point. I mean, there were people chanting for Angle, but it was a very pro Cena crowd in Oklahoma City here.
Oh, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
We're definitely getting there. But it was just something. It was just a little thing that I noticed here. The crowd wasn't as into Kurt Angle as I thought they were on this show.
And we've talked about so far in Cena's feud where he needed a good villain like a JBL to tell a good story. He needed ring generals like Christian Cage and Chris Jericho to, kind of guide him through a main event status match. I feel like Angle and Cena are so comfortable with each other that this match just flowed so naturally.
Yeah, just the counter wrestling in this thing was just something to behold. Cena going for an attitude adjustment. Angle slipping out, trying to go for the ankle lock. Cena slipping out of that into a spine buster. Cena going for another AA. Angle hitting an angle slam. The near falls in this thing were freaking awesome. And you definitely, felt the urgency and the stakes of this match because it's the top prize. Angle wants to be the top dog. He's going after John Cena here. But, the crowd was buying into all of these false finishes. And I was too.
If Edge didn't exist, Kurt Angle would be my favorite John Cena rival of all time.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Kurt Angle. John Cena did induct Kurt Angle into the Hall of Fame in 2017. So
For a reason.
yeah. No. Angle, I'm sure, has touted Cena as one of his favorite rivals. Five knuckle shuffle. That was a false finish. Attitude adjustment. There was a ref bump here. Mike Chioda, the referee, goes down at a certain point. Cena hits the AA. He gets the visual cover on Kurt Angle. Mike Chioda is nowhere to be found. Kurt Angle takes Cena to Dick Kick City. The referee doesn't see it. Can't disqualify Kurt Angle, because why would you want to disqualify somebody in your main event of a pay-per-view? That's stupid. But Kurt slaps on the ankle lock as Vince McMahon runs down to ringside and gets in Stone Cold Steve Austin's face. Oh, wait, no, I misread that. I'm sorry. Eric Bischoff goes down to basically dangle the WWE Championship like a carrot to a reindeer to John Cena. And he's like, hey, you're not going to have this anymore. It's the reason why I joked about Vince McMahon running down to taunt Stone Cold. It's like, it's exactly the same feud. It's exactly the same. Like,
oh, it is. It's a modern version of it. And this is the only time a Cena versus an authority figure worked.
Yeah.
Like I said, CM Punk with Johnny Ace. I liked it when Punk did it, then Cena made it not cool. Bryan Danielson versus the Authority. It was great because Danielson was an underdog. Cena versus the Authority, it wasn't cool anymore. This was the only time like it worked.
Yeah.
I think even Cena and Vince like dabbled here and there, but I'm like, it's not the same.
So
it's like obligatory.
Yeah, Cena reaches the ropes. Eric Bischoff kicks Cena's hand off the rope so that he can't have a rope break. So Cena rolls through. Angle bumps into Bischoff on the apron, who takes a clumsy looking tumble. And Cena nails Angle with the title, and the ref fucking sees it. And he rings the bell and awards the match to Kurt Angle. Fuck you, Vince McMahon, and your special.
Dumbass.
This was a
dumbass babyface syndrome.
This was a great fucking main event until you had to ruin it with a DQ finish. I'm so glad we didn't pay $40 for this back then.
You look at Cena's character at this point. He's all about just so much respect for the business and holds himself to such a higher degree, his character to a higher degree. Why would he use a weapon? Like, why? He's always not taking the coward's way out. And I get it. You could be like, oh, well, Cena's, he has a temper. Cena let his temper get the better of him and he nailed Angle with the title. But it's like,
literally, it's like the same fucking finish as the Great American Bash. It's like, yeah. I cannot believe this. But
at least this match was better. Wrestling-wise.
It was way better. This match,
better.
3.5-star match. This match compared to Batista and JBL, it's night and day. Absolutely night and day. This match was so good in the ring, but just a dumbass finish to it annoys me so much, like, that Vince McMahon puts so many DQ finishes on his pay-per-views. Like, you expect a decisive finish if you pay money to watch this show.
Oh yeah.
No, you got to tune in
the network era. I mean, sure, you're still pissing off a lot of people that paid to be in the venue. But at least it made sense that here, again, we're paying $40 a pop for these pay-per-views.
And this is
actually happen.
This is for the main title, too. This is for the World Championship. Like, you can't have an indecisive finish?
There is a reason why when I watched wrestling with my family growing up, whenever it was a big star versus a big star, they would immediately say, it's going to be a DQ. Because Vince wouldn't let anyone get pinned.
Would not let anybody get pinned until Taboo Tuesday or Survivor Series. But anyway, after the match, to send the crowd home happy, Cena basically beats up both the bad guys. I think was it Bischoff he sent through the announce table, or was it Angle? I don't remember.
I feel like it was Angle.
Bischoff gets on the microphone first. Excuse me, and he tells the referee he shouldn't give the title to John Cena. He hits the attitude adjustment on Bischoff. They brawl for a little while, and you're right, it was Kurt Angle that went through the announce table. Because the Spanish announce team, poor Hugo Savinovich and Carlos Cabrera, cannot get through one of these pay-per-views without their table getting destroyed. So
do you remember, like, before you could watch these pay-per-views on demand, how they would, they wanted you to buy the replay, so they would show you, like, screenshots of the show. for this pay-per-view, they would show like little screenshots of the match, but they would always end it with Cena giving the attitude adjustment to angle through the announce table. And then when I saw that as a kid, I was like, okay, how did Cena win though? It's because they didn't want to fucking include the DQ finish.
They didn't want to acknowledge that.
By the fucking replay, because they knew if they said, "Oh, this match goes to a DQ finish," no one would order the replay. And
no,
I would always. And this is totally unrelated, but I would never be inclined to order the replay because I already know what happened on the show. Why would I want to go back and watch it if I already know what's going to happen?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we go back and rewatch it knowing what's going to happen because we do this little podcast here.
I'm not paying $50 to rewatch No Mercy 05.
Fair enough.
You know what I
mean? Fair enough. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, which actually is the next stop on this retrospective. But, what'd you think of this match overall?
It was good. Wrestling was good, but just very deflating with the finish.
Yeah.
Again, episode of Raw, I could forgive it. A pay-per-view I wasn't paying $40 for, I could forgive it. But it's just like, you roll your eyes at it. It's like, this is the only way you could advance the story.
Yeah.
Don't have a definitive finish here. Pay another $40 for the next pay-per-view, and then you'll see the finish. Yeah,
pay $40 for the next pay-per-view to see Kurt Angle finish the story. Something like that. You want to talk about American nightmares there, but Unforgiven 2005, I thought it was a better show than I remembered it being.
And looking at this card for next retrospective, I already know this show's Unforgiven's a lot better than this next show.
Yeah. I'm leaning between 6.75 and a 7. I
think I'm comfortable giving it a solid 7 because you had that amazing cage match.
Fair enough.
A very, very good match with Masters and Michaels. And, the undercard, the first couple of matches were pretty good. One surprised the hell out of me. And, Snitsky and Big Show, Benjamin Chavo.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
He had some stinkers on here, but
I'll tell you this much. Yeah, no, definitely not. I thought this was a better Unforgiven than 04. But this one, if the main event had a decisive finish, I could easily see myself giving this a 7.5. But, I could see myself
giving it a 7.25. But just considering the finish and, this wasn't a bad pay-per-view, but it wasn't, awesome.
No, it was enjoyable. I had fun watching it. But up next on the retro, to Tomas's point, is No Mercy 2005, which is mainly known for being the site of the final pay-per-view match in the life of Eddie Guerrero when he wrestles Batista in the main event, going out on top where he belongs. But the rest of that card, not much really to write home about. But if you're
fucking shit.
If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up as well. The ZNT Wrestling Tandem is talking all things wrestling over here on the regular. I of course have my movie reviews. Stay tuned for more just more fun topics and all things entertainment. We got No Mercy in the line.
Yeah, our Elimination Chamber review, which you know what? I am staying the fuck up to watch that.
Oh, you are? Oh man.
To watch that, so we'll look forward to Elimination Chamber. We got AEW Revolution coming up in March, and we are on the road to WrestleMania. So stay tuned for probably some WrestleMania retrospectives. We haven't really decided what we're gonna do with Mania season. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. And like we said, look forward to it. But No Mercy 2005 is next. Again, we're on Mania season, and we're talking about mid-fall pay-per-views.
Yeah,
that's works.
That's how this retrospective works, folks. If you don't like it, as Batista said in 2014, deal with it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up as well. Let us know what you thought of Unforgiven 05. Take care, guys.